Red light cameras, web cameras, cell phones, drones. Our lives are saturated with cameras each and every day. One UT graduate tells the story of murder and corruption through many lenses. Here to talk about his first feature film, FrameSwitch, is director Drew Thomas and lead actress Deanna Brochin. Thank you both for joining me.
Thanks, Yvonne.
So let's talk about this labor of love, because really it was for you. How did you and your filmmaking partner, John Herndon, come up with the premise, and what makes this film, the way you shot it, rather unique?
Well, I've had an idea for a film like this told from all of these angles, like you said, the surveillance angles and cell phones and traffic cameras and even drone footage for a while, probably going back to 2008. But I'm not a writer. John Herndon is the writer. So we kind of took that idea and crafted a screenplay around it, kind of ripped from the headlines of today's conspiracy theories. So it kind of came out of that.
Very nice, and it's very different. I like that. Deanna, you know, it's refreshing to see a Latina actress such as yourself play the lead role. You know, with diversity in Hollywood and the Oscars so white being such hot button topics nowadays, what do you feel needs to be done to make this industry more inclusive?
Well, there's a lot that needs to be done. First of all, we're still dealing with age-old stereotypes and how people of color are represented in film and television. Not only how they're represented, but our perception of what they're supposed to look like. I've walked into many auditions and read in fluent Spanish and been told, that was great, but you just don't look Mexican enough. Wow. Which is silly, because, you know, I know Mexicans that are blonde hair and blue eyes. And secondly, a lot of these big blockbuster movies that are coming out of Hollywood are written and directed and produced by white males. And so not only are people of color underrepresented, but so are women. And so in the casting place, I think that we need to reevaluate these roles and think, have a little bit more, be a little bit more open-minded and say, hey, this was written for a white male, but let's bring in a black female, or let's bring in an Asian guy or a Latina. You know,
and be more
for example.
I will say this film, I mean, there's a lot of diversity in this film.
And that's one of the things that I love about FrameSwitch, is that we do have a very diverse cast, and I think that's more realistic representation of what America looks like.
Drew, as a UT film student, what kind of advice, I have to ask, do you have for future aspiring directors? Because there's so many people that were sitting in your seat, or actually, you know, in class thinking, one of these days I'm going to make it. How do you get there? How do you get there?
That's an interesting question. I think what held me back from making a movie all this time, I think, was I was waiting for something like a big check, or maybe somebody to knock on my door and like say, hey, like, I'm gonna give you everything you need. So I think that when we stopped waiting and started doing all the grunt work, the 20 or 30 little tasks a day you can do, like writing an email or running an errand to check out a location or stuff like that. Once you do 20 or 30 little things a day over the course of 3 years, I mean, you have a movie. And so here we are.
Thank you so much. I know we got to go with Deanna. Real quick, one word of advice for any aspiring actresses?
You know, I think you can get behind the camera as well and write and produce if you want to see yourself represented on screen, and lots of hard work.
Yeah, a lot of hard work, and get yourself involved in everything. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks,
I appreciate it.